All right. So good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. Today we're going to be doing our planning session for your best year ever. And I thought we'd have a little music just to give us an intro while everybody gets on here. So waiting for more people to populate. All right. Let's see who we got online here so far. Oh, Jane's here. Hi, Jane. Hi, Yvette. Good to see you. All right, guys. So thanks for coming on again. So we're kicking off our Agent Marketing Academy for 2021. I can't believe it's 2021 already. And we are all in on what's going on for getting you guys prepped to kind of put together a business plan if you haven't done this yet, and some of the things you want to think about, just making sure that you capitalize on all the opportunities that you have for this year. And if you don't know me, my name's Dave Marzinki. I'm with Movement Mortgage. We're a direct lender here, run our branch down in South Orange County in Mission Viejo. And we are, my team and our loan officers, we cover California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, and then also Louisiana. That was the other state that we left out. But glad to have you on board, and we will get started. Just a couple of things we wanted to make sure you guys were aware of is to use the Q&A function. If you want to ask a question, we want to make this as interactive as possible. Or the chat function, the chat box, you can enter your questions there too. And we'll make sure that we get to those and answer those as they come up. So, all right. So just a question to make sure everybody's still awake and with us and ready to participate. So how many of you are already having a crazy busy year getting started right now? So love to see your comments there in the chat box if you guys can have those. Let's see, do we have any brave souls yet who are willing to participate? Anybody? All right, well, hopefully you are having a busy start to the year. It's pretty crazy out there in the market. Oh, we got one brave soul. Let's see who commented here. All right, good job, Yvette. New agent, but one's pending already. Congratulations, that's outstanding. So welcome to the crazy world of real estate. Perfect, so things that we want to do is we want to help you guys get started, give you a plan, and then be your coach, or make sure you take the time to find a coach to help you keep accountable. This doesn't really be as effective, and having a plan doesn't be as effective as it can be unless you have an accountability partner. So we're going to go through that today. And my role is just to kind of guide you through some of the things that we use here with our team and planning out our year and planning out the next quarter as well, and how we go about that, and then give you guys some ideas to do that. So who feels that having a business plan is important? I'm sure that's a basic question, but how many of you actually feel that way or think that this is important? Nobody does? I'm sure you guys do, but having said that, most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. And you want to think of your real estate business as a GPS for your career. So instead of getting lost and asking for directions, you want to have a plan that you can reference. You can adjust, make adjustments as needed to adjust to whatever's going on in the market, and then you can move forward there. So for our time today, we're going to be keeping our focus simple. We're going to take a look at the big three things that you need to have for your plan. And these are foundational elements for your business plan and helping you get started, right? So what are the big three, right? What do you want? How are you going to go about getting that? And what can you improve? So those are the three big categories that make up our foundation for our plan. And from Marcus Lemonis, it says, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. So I need you to put on your hat as a CEO, because each one of us are CEOs of our own business. Even though you work at whatever brokerage you work at, or if you're an independent broker, that too, but you are the CEO of your real estate practice. And so we need to have a CEO mindset about our business and how we approach it, and some of the things that how we make decisions about that. And so one of the things you want to think about is knowing your numbers. Because if you don't know your numbers, you don't have a business. You're just wishing and kind of going with whatever way the wind blows you. So having a successful business and goals, meaning you know and how to track and how to measure what's going on with your business practice. Right. So first thing you want to do before we plan for 2021 is we want to look back and take stock of what happened in 2020. So what went well? What didn't go well? What are some of the things that you wish you could improve? So that's where we're going to start. So is everybody with me on this? All right, perfect. And as being a participant today, you guys are going to be emailed out the business plan template that we have, so you guys can go through and fill this out on your own time. So we will be sending out as a gift to you a whole 24-page business plan template for you, so that you can go in and complete this information and go through it on your own as well. But first question you want to ask yourself was, what was your sales volume year to date for 2020? Right, and you fill that in, and then how many listings you had and how many buyer sides you had. And then how many total referrals did you receive? And then you take a look at what your gross commissions are. And then do you know how many appointments you completed? Do you even keep track of that? And then how many buyer appointments you had, how many listing appointments you had. So some of these are all the things that you want to put in here and enter into this template. Then next, you want to put down, what are your goals for the coming year? You know, what do you want your total sales volume goal to be? What do you want your average commission to be? Then we determine, that'll help us determine the total number of transactions we have to complete for the year. And then based on the information that you did last year, the total number of appointments you need to have in order to get those transactions to help you reach your total sales volume. So if you take the average dollar amount for your transactions and multiply it to get to your target number for transactions, that's going to help you get to your total sales volume. And then we want to take a look at whatever your personal goals around your physical, your relational, and your money, and your spiritual. You know, is it something that you want to do to work out? Do you want to pick up a new hobby? Do you want to do something with your spouse on a regular basis if that's important to you? You know, what about your finances? You know, take a look at any debt that you have or investments that you want to make. So these are all things that we want to incorporate, not just about our real estate practice, but our overall world of our physical, our financial, our relational, and our spiritual. And then once you have your goals defined, you want to make sure that you get clear on your why. So what are the benefits of taking action and achieving your goals? What will you get? How will you feel when you accomplish those goals? Or some people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. So what will happen if you don't follow through? And how will you feel if you don't follow through? So these are important questions to ask ourselves, because we want to make sure that we take inventory and reflect on why we do what we do, right? Why do we get out of bed every day? Why do we go after and take charge in this crazy real estate world and deal with crazy sellers and deal with crazy buyers and deal with crazy lenders and all those things that you have to do? So what is it that motivates you, and what is it that you're trying to accomplish for the year? Does this make sense? Hopefully it does. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to go back and take a look at your numbers as far as determining where your business came from. So we want to take a look at our lead sources, and then we want to break down our gross commission income from each source so that we have a good idea of what's the most profitable and what's the least profitable segment of our business. So you want to go through and you want to enter your units that you had for your 2020 listings, your 2020 buyers, any leases that you did, and then any referrals that you gave out to other agents, right? And you go through and complete these different boxes on this. And once you go through and enter all that information, it's going to become clear to you about how you're going to go about concentrating your focus for 2021 on your most profitable segment of your business. Because if you concentrate on the most profitable segment, then that's going to be where you obviously enjoy, you have the most success, you find the most enjoyment, and that's where you're going to be able to grow your business for 2021. Any questions on any of this so far? All right. And then our next piece of the puzzle here is, what do you want, right? So we want to make sure that you anticipate in your planning that you have one transaction for every 40 business focused conversations. It's kind of on average, according to the NAR, about your conversion rates. So you have one transaction for every 40 business focused conversations with new leads or database contacts. And bear in mind that the results obviously are going to vary between skill levels and experience and how you perform and what your dedication is, right? But if you want to have X number of transactions, right? So say if we want to have 20 transactions for our total year, right? Then you break that down per week, and then you break that down per quota, right? So that tells you how many conversations that you need to have on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to hit your numbers as far as what your goals are for the total number of transactions. And the next, where do we want to improve? So where do you want to get excellent? Where is the focus of your energy going to be going forward in 2021? And you kind of got to go through and be real with yourself, have a real conversation with that. So how are your organizational skills? What is your total wellness like? Do you have balance? Do you want balance in your life? How are your lead conversion rates? For all those conversations do you have, how many of those converted in transactions? For our example, we used 40 conversations per one transaction. You could be better or you could be worse on that, but take a measurement of that. What's your mindset? Go through and how is your mindset? Are you constantly anxious and worrying about things, or do you have a CEO mindset and you're confident because you know your numbers and because you have the right mentality of, going after your business? And then your communication skills. Is this something that you want to work on where you're able to communicate clearly with your clients and the people that are involved in your transaction? And then your lead generation. So how do you feel about your time that you're spending on lead generation and the time that you are focused on that, and then your overall ability to put those systems in place or have those conversations? And one of the things that, I always like to compare this to is that, real estate and mortgage go hand in hand in this, but this seems like this is the only business out there where the salesperson or the person that's on the front end is required to do all the work behind the scenes too. That's the way we're taught, right? So as an agent, you got to write up the contract, and then you've got to make sure that you negotiate with it. And then you got to make sure that escrow gets open. And then you got to make sure that things are followed up with, from the buyer, that to get their earnest money in. And then, all the paperwork that goes behind that, all the nitty gritty that goes behind the scenes of actually getting that transaction. And so what you want to do, if you have the ability to, is to put systems in place or put people in place that are going to take that load off of you so that you can go out as the front end person and do the lead generation, because that's what's going to bring in the transactions every single day, every single month, and every single year, right? You want to focus on what you're good at. So you didn't get into real estate because you felt like you were good at, contracts, and you were good at following up with people to make sure that, earnest money was in and the lender's appraisal was ordered, and that, we have our approval and that all the conditions are signed off. No, that's not what you were, why you got into the business. You want to enjoy helping people realize their dreams and finding their homes and making sure that they have a great opportunity to purchase that home or sell that home. And so put those systems in place, hire those people if you have the ability to, or share a transaction coordinator with somebody else so that you can actually take that off your plate and focus on what you do well, right? So where do you want to improve for 2021? So then what do you want to kind of do is go through this process of how we are going to generate and convert leads, right? So we have these different sources, right? And we've listed this out in our template that we're going to email out to you, so you guys can go through and spend some more time looking at this. But we have our center of influence, we have past clients. Do you have relationships with banks where you're getting referrals, right? The Make Me Move platform on Zillow. Oops, I said it. It's a bad word, Zillow. But yeah, Make Me Move. You can go in there and you can find people that are actually saying, hey, I'll sell if I can get this price on my house. And then you can actually, work with buyers to go in and find off-market properties, because there's people that are out there that saying, hey, I'm going to entertain moving if I get the price that I want. Your geographic farm, your social networks, your builder, developers that you're working with, expired listings, your online leads, etc. So there's all these different categories that you can go through. And are you developing leads from each single category, or pick the ones that you feel comfortable with and go hard after those? All right, and then next, where do you need help, right? So you want to look at your business and go through this and actually figure out where you need help in your business, and who's going to help you hold you accountable. So do you have a mentor that you're working with? Do you have a coach that you're working with? Or do you have another agent that you want to team up with and, hold each other accountable? So get an accountability partner that's in, the same sphere that you're in and that you can work well with and that you can be open and honest with, and make sure that you are sharing that information and holding yourself accountable, because you want to make sure that to hit your goals, you have to stay on top of it. And you have to develop the daily habits that every single day, these are the things that I'm going to do to help me reach my goals. So any comments out there or things that you want to see as far as, questions about going after your goals, lead conversion? Do people want to share what's working well for them? Those type of things. So love to see it. What do you feel like is working well for you here so far in 2021, or what worked well for you in 2020? Love to see some ideas come through on the chat line or the Q&A button. All right, daily tasks. Any good idea for a routine? Thank you, Trisha, for asking the question. So in this handout that we're going to be emailing you, there's a way to come out and map out your daily routine. But definitely the most important thing that's going to help you become successful or continue your success is carving out 2 hours every single day in the mornings for where you're prospecting. So that's the main thing. If you're a morning person, great. If you're not, then find out the time that you feel like you're most productive and carve that out where you're doing nothing but actually prospecting on your business, having those conversations or reaching out to people to follow up with them, because that has to be a daily activity to make sure that you're consistently building your pipeline of leads. So, and then, following up with that and then tracking that, right? Having a system to track that, whether it's Google Sheets, a worksheet, spreadsheet on Google where you keep track of their name and contact information when you followed up with them. Or if you have a CRM, which would be preferable, to put that information into a CRM and follow up with them through that. But the daily routine is making sure that you at least spend 2 hours every single day prospecting at a minimum. It's a great question, Trisha. Any other questions out there or comments people want to share with what's working for them? All right. Is there an okay time to call? Do you text while prospecting? I think texting is definitely a good thing, Trisha, because that has the highest open rates. And there's some CRMs, like if you look at LionDesk, that's a very inexpensive tool that a lot of agents have had success using. And they have a text function within the CRM platform. So you can actually do mass text to your clients there, but or text one-on-one right from your CRM. And so, yeah, texting is definitely something we've incorporated into our team and reaching out to people and setting that up. So, all right, Amy, you mentioned referrals and past clients. That's working well. Yeah, your database is the biggest thing that where you're going to develop your business from. So if you've been in this business, you know, at least a couple of years and you have past transactions where you can go back to and touch base, you want to have things that you are working on to keep in touch and keep yourself top of mind with your referral partners and I mean your database, right? And it's not like, you know, sending out the recipe every single month just to have your name on an email that goes out to them, but bringing something of value to them, you know, having something about your community or having something about what's going on in the market, or making sure that it brings valuable information to them and that they think of you as the expert and that you can position yourself as somebody that they can count on for good information. So yeah, good comment, Amy. Thank you so much. All right, we have another question here. Amy says, would you ask directly for business from people you know? Yeah, because people want to work with who they know, they like, and they trust. So if they know you and they like you and they trust you, then yeah, you definitely want to ask for that business. And you don't have to do it in a salesy way. You can do it in a way that's positioning yourself as a professional. You know, say, hey, you know, I'm here to provide education content. I want to educate the people that are in my life, that are people that I know, so that if there comes the time when you are ready to make a decision about buying or selling real estate, that I'm the person that you go to for that information. So yeah, educational content's the best way to do that, Amy. And I think that that's, you know, you definitely want to work with people that you know that are in your database. Great participation. So thank you, everybody. So just a kind of a commercial here as we wrap things up. So this was a short and sweet presentation, but I'm going to follow up and send that template out to you so that you can go through it yourselves and spend the time to do that, and work that up and go through and reflect on what you're doing and what your goals are for 2021. But we are doing these once a month here for, or no, excuse me, once every other week for Orange County Realtors. And we're going through and actually doing different topics. So we have topics like different platforms, social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, how to run Facebook ads, how to develop custom audiences, how to do video marketing. So there's a lot of different topics that we're going to put out there that we've already developed. And then many of you have already joined us on these presentations from last fall, but definitely invite your friends and come on and provide the information or get the information, because our coaching team has put this together for the agents that we work with and the agents in the community, and we'd love to help you out. So thank you for coming today. And my contact information, I'll put that in the chat window. So if you have any questions or anything you want to reach out, you can always feel free to contact me directly on that as well. So thanks again, guys. Have a great day.